Hello everybody, it's Julia here from the Highly Sensitive Tarot, and I'm here today with the second of my Drop 'em 78 videos. It's Sunday morning as I'm sitting doing this video, and actually the sun is out. It's very bright outside, it's beautiful. It's been a lovely week actually for weather here in the UK, or at least in Norfolk where I live. It's been beautiful. It's been very mild and yeah, really nice weather. So anyway, where are we? So last week was the first week was a kind of short week, wasn't it? It was Tuesday to Saturday. So this video will be Sunday's cards through to yesterday, Saturday's cards. So it might be a little bit of a longer video, but hopefully not too much. It's been a very strange week for me this last week. Not my usual kind of week. It's had some real ups and downs. Yesterday was my partner Pete's birthday. Well, his birthday's Monday, but it's been his birthday weekend. So I had a lovely day yesterday. But Tuesday and Thursday of this week, I had hospital appointments for things that I've been worrying about for quite a long time. So they were pretty crap days actually. But anyway, I shall get to those. I'm not going to go into too much detail because you don't really need to be hearing that. And if you know me well, you'll know what's going on with me anyway. So yeah. So the cards on the table at the moment are the Six of Pentacles. And if you might remember, I'm using the Goliath Tarot as my main deck, and I'm using the Curious Travels Tarot deck as my sort of discovery or comparison deck. So that, yeah, this is from last Sunday, the 20th of October. And for the definition for the Six of Pentacles, the sacred white scale bull here, I've sort of written down giving and receiving, balance, the weighing of karma, generosity, abundance and kindness, charity, being willing to receive yourself, and understanding and compassion. In the detail for this card, I think I've just looked really at the bull itself, really, as the detail for this card. And I've written here that the bull himself is a strong and pure animal, hardworking and proud, but he wears a harness around his neck and a ring through his nose. So while this bull, being strong and big, could be dominant, but it actually allows itself to be subservient and gentle, doesn't it? Haven't focused in too much on the scales, but it was just kind of the animal itself, really. And I've often thought that about, you know, big, strong animals that could be very dominant, couldn't they? But often they're not. They're just very gentle with us people. And we're often dominant with them, aren't we? Which is, I find really horribly upsetting. So while that's not in the true sort of definition of the Six of Pentacles, that's just sort of what came to mind for me, really, was this sort of dominance and subservience around these animals. How I related it to my day was, I've just written that Sundays are generally quiet days for me, where I sort of relax and maybe catch up on a few things. And Sunday mornings are actually, this is where this card is well, where my day was kind of relevant to this card, I suppose, is that I tend to, on a Sunday morning, allow my partner to do what he needs to do rather than what I would prefer. Just because I realise that his working week is a lot busier than mine, and he doesn't have as much free time as I have, so I tend to sort of, with as much good grace as I can muster, I tend to let him do what he wants to do on a Sunday morning. So that was how it kind of related to my day, I suppose, that give and take, trying to have a sort of generosity and an understanding of other people's needs. So what in the comparison and the discovery of this card, this one here, I've put the hand holding the scales of justice and judgment, and the people are sort of reaching up, almost begging for something, trying to pull something to them. And this card just reminded me really that the scales can change at any time. And like the bull, we can either be master dominant or servant subservient, can't we? These energies change all the time, depending on who was able to reach the scales here and pull them down. That person would have things more in their favour, perhaps, wouldn't they? So I've just put it's important to approach both of these polarities with as much grace and kindness as possible. So that was the Six of Pentacles. The Seven of Pentacles are beautiful cards, actually. I hope you can see these because the sun is shining in quite brightly, and through my camera I'm not sure how much you can see. So this was Monday. So this is the rewarded frog, and my definition is a pause to appreciate hard work, sort of pause before the harvest, resting a moment, reviewing, reflecting, enjoying the fruits of your labour, getting out what you put in, staying focused, remembering that rewards are coming. The detail here is that the frog is camouflaging himself kind of in amongst these Venus flytraps. He'd be kind of quite hard, I suppose, for a predator to see if he was green and the plants were green, I suppose. And it's like he kind of knows he won't have to work too hard for his meal. It's like this frog has learned how to make this situation work for him. How this related to my day? Well, I think Mondays are generally sort of busy days of housework and catching up with people and jobs generally for me. It was a good day. I put that I rested in the afternoon and reflected upon my progress with my new home. And that's kind of how it relates to this card, my day, is that I did pause and rest and kind of reflected on what I'd actually achieved. So that sort of enjoying the fruits of my labour kind of energy. And I feel that in sort of four months, I've achieved a lot. So that was a good feeling. And the comparison is this beautiful card here. This is just lovely. These huge flowers here, they really remind me of some Mexican sunflowers I used to grow, which were enormous. But anyway, in this card, this sort of farmer has managed to grow these huge flowers, and it's like he stood before them, like with his little watering can there, sort of like, you know, he's now got this mammoth task of maybe harvesting these flowers, and which will be the reward for his effort. But I just thought between the two here, it was like the farmer had to use much more energy than the frog to get his reward. The frog's just sat there, isn't he, with his tongue out, flicking his tongue out to catch these flies. But perhaps the risks are greater to the frog overall of being eaten by something else. I don't know. But anyway, that was Monday, the Seven of Pentacles. So Tuesday, we've got the Eight of Pentacles. Sorry, my table is so slidey. This is the Patient Weaver of the spider here. Again, this is a difficult card for me to look at. I really do not like spiders, certainly not big spiders like this. So the definition of this card is hard work, diligence, learning, attention to detail, the perfecting of something, which the spider is very good at, building something, gaining experience, commitment, that sort of appreciation that quality takes time. There's a fear of failure around, I think, the Eight of Pentacles card as well. So the detail in this card, well, for me, I'd instantly go straight for these poor butterflies or moths that are trapped in the web, caught in the web. And it just made me feel like just how awful. Imagine feeling so trapped and so stuck, waiting, being a victim, just being completely powerless to change your reality. That just seems like the worst nightmare in the world for me, really, that you'd been caught or trapped and there was just really nothing that you could do, and that you're just waiting to die. That's all I can see really in this card. I can fully appreciate the skill and the hard work and diligence of this spider, but I'm always going to put myself in the position of the moth or the butterfly. And especially on this day, actually, because the Tuesday is the day that I had my first appointment at the hospital. I've reached the grand age of 56, and it seems that at that sort of age, things catch up with you, and there's lots of tests that are offered to you at that age that are checking for cancer and things like that. And this day I had a mammogram, and for me it's all the more important at the moment because my poor mum has been diagnosed with breast cancer again. It's the second time. She's in her late 70s, and both times actually it's just been a very small lump, and the first time they just took it out, and I think that's what they're going to do this time, and there shouldn't really be any further treatment. But obviously it's a big worry and a big concern for us all, and it prompted me to take up the offer of my mammogram because I just do not like doctors. I don't like hospitals. I'm one of those sort of people that I generally won't turn up at the doctor's unless I'm dying, you know. It's like I really suffer a huge amount of anxiety just even setting foot through the door of a doctor's or a hospital. So I've written in here in my day, the mammogram, a necessary evil of having to prioritise my health. Spiders and mammograms, maybe both necessary evils in life, but both involve a fear and both make me want to run away. So yeah, I've had that done, and I'm now waiting for the results of that, obviously. So my comparison and discovery here is that this is a very, very different energy, isn't it? Only the girl here really will suffer if she works too hard or she overreaches herself, because overwhelmingly in this picture here, she looks tired. You know, she's burning the candle, maybe at both ends, but she looks tired. So for me, this reminds me to remember my sort of perfectionist tendencies and to look after my physical and mental health. I have a tendency to sort of get caught up in things, whether that be relationships or anything that I'm passionate about, and then I can quite often neglect my well-being. I can forget to eat and look after myself, and yeah, I guess all of that was kind of going through my head at the time. And I've also written here that hospital appointments leave me feeling like the moths in this picture, or the butterflies, trapped and oppressed. And that I could easily be like the girl here in this picture and just distract myself because of anxiety or whatever, and just really ignore my self-care. And so this was a good reminder for me, actually, that while I didn't want to go to the hospital and while I was afraid and not happy about it, it actually was me prioritizing my self-care, wasn't it? It was prioritizing my health. So that is a good thing. So the next card here, which are beautiful, and I think this, out of the minors in any decks, actually, to be honest, the Nine of Pentacles, I think, has always been my favourite card. So this was Wednesday. This is the Tranquil Spotted Doe. It's just beautiful, isn't it? And the definition with this is enjoyment and abundance of earthly pleasures, enjoying the finer things of life, feeling self-sufficient, self-confident, independent, connecting with nature, enjoying being outside, and carrying yourself with that sort of grace and beauty. And when I looked for the detail in this card, I think what really jumped out at me was all the little stars. Well, they look like little stars above the lotus flowers here. They're sort of glowing with this beautiful energy, and that's actually reflected in the doe's eyes and around the doe's mouth there. It's like this magical energy. It's just beautiful. So I've written about my day, and I've written a better day than yesterday, and that I'm trying to enjoy my home and my little life, feeling grateful that I'm actually able to be self-sufficient and mostly independent. I'm grateful that my garden is starting to come together. I'm really just trying to adjust my mindset about my health and my tests, and, you know, feeling proud of myself for prioritizing my health and well-being. Because I've spent, you know, long periods of time in my life of not doing that at all. So the comparison and the discovery here is that I've written her dress is completely made of grapes, sort of representing that abundance. Everything is abundant and beautiful about both of these cards, but the Goliath is much more nature-based, whereas this one is, to me, feels much more about a person's need for sort of security and wealth, and to be stable and secure and to have everything that you need and to be enjoying it, actually. You know, she's literally stood wearing the fruits of her labour, isn't she? So yeah, I love this card. It's a card of Virgo, and I just always want to be the woman in the card, stood in the garden, making friends with the birds and the flowers. It's just gorgeous, gorgeous. So then we have the 10 of Pentacles, and this is Thursday. So again, this was another hospital day. This was not a good day. In fact, this was the worst day of the week for me in terms of my anxiety and misery, I guess, around the appointment. So the definition of these cards were, this is the oyster of Metatron. We can see the tree of life there. So this is a card of security, family matters, feeling happy and prosperous, having that wealth and security, success, feeling happy, having long-term goals and success in mind, having strong family values, being community-minded, being content. The detail in this card, well, obviously we've got the tree of life here, which is number 10 in the Kabbalah, isn't it? The 10 centers of life and power. And this is just like the world is your oyster, I think, isn't it? It's your kingdom. So that couldn't really have been further from how I was feeling on Thursday. I've been taking HRT for the last few years because I suffered so badly with hot flushes, and unfortunately, the HRT has caused this sort of imbalance in my hormones, which has meant that I've had to go and have a biopsy twice this year because of a condition with my womb. And I'm sorry if that's too much information for people, but it's real, isn't it? It's real life. It's what's really happening to me at the moment. And this just made me really think also about, with my day, about, this is a 10, isn't it? The 10 of Pentacles, which is about family and cycles and security and all of those things. And it just made me think about the cycles of life, and that I've now reached the stage of sort of that crone sort of energy, haven't I? I'm very menopausal, and yeah, I don't even know what I want to say about that really, but yeah, that just made me think about that really, of like the stage that I'm at in life, where I suppose my family values and my focus on being secure and content and happy and having those long-term goals, those things are all kind of put at risk, aren't they, by these investigations, these physical issues I'm having. And that it's that time of life for me, isn't it, where really I should have some grandchildren. I've got a son, but I don't have any grandchildren. The day of my biopsy was awful. The whole hospital experience all round was awful. There's nowhere to park at the hospital, which you just don't need, do you, when you're going to a hospital appointment? Thankfully, my partner took me again. The experience all round was horrific. The gynecologist that I saw did not inspire confidence. I may have to go back and have the biopsy repeated, because she's not sure that she did it properly. It was awful. It really hurt, and it really upset me. And I've now got to wait 2 to 4 weeks for the results of that. So I think you can imagine what my week was like last week. It was, yeah. And at the same time as well, because I've hit 56, the NHS here have sent me a bowel cancer test that you do at home as well. And I can't bear to do that at the moment. I just cannot face it. I will do it once I've got the results back clear from these 2 tests. Because it's like three tests. No, I can't do it. But anyway, thinking about my day, this just made me feel really glad that I have my family and my friends and my partner to support me, that I've got that sort of community of people around me to support me and be there for me. Like I said, I think as you get older, that becomes more and more of a big deal, doesn't it? So the comparison here is that this beautiful elephant with her family and her descendants, she's protective and sharing of her love and success. And I think both these cards represent that success and that conquering of your kingdom, working up the Pentacles and the Tree of Life to this position here, where you've got your you've got your extended family, which I do hope to have one day. We'll keep nagging my son about that. So yeah, that was the last of my horror for the week, really. It got better after that. And like I said, now I'm just sort of anxiously waiting, really. And, keeping everything crossed. So anyway, this is Friday here, and we're at the Page of Pentacles now. This is the butterfly snow vixen. And the definition with this is a manifestation of desires, being practical, developing a plan, going after what you want, being adaptable and methodical, having common sense, being a practical thinker. And the detail in this, I just thought really how fascinating this butterfly merging with a fox, a female fox here. This sort of transformational energy of the butterfly combined with that swift and maybe even cunning or adaptable fox. It's real mastery, isn't it, of the external world. So how it related to my day, I've written that I'm still recovering today. I'm still in some pain, not feeling good, but have a fair amount to do. So trying to think practically and rationally rather than giving in to my emotions and my fears and laying in bed all day and not really achieving anything, which is something I'm quite capable of doing when I'm scared and anxious. But I didn't. I managed to get myself up and do my chores before I got back in bed for a rest in the afternoon. So I'm still being gentle with myself, but staying calm and having that common sense, being more of a practical thinker for the day, rather, like I said, rather than giving in to my emotional state. And for the discovery and the comparison here, I've put, this is a sort of manifestation of abundance, like the 9 of Pentacles. In this card here, the world is green and lush, and she's got flowers in her hair. She's examining the pentacle closely, learning everything that she can about it. And I felt that these are both very feminine energies that combine that sort of beauty and gentleness with a sort of shrewd determination also. And I've not got the knight here, have I? There we are. Let's get that. I've still got that on my card holder. So this is for yesterday. This is Saturday. So this is the last card. Where are we? 27 minutes. Oh, I've not been waffling for too long, have I? So this is the Knight of Pentacles. This was yesterday. This was Saturday. And this is the Aztec Hawk Warrior as the Knight of Pentacles. So the definition of this is patience, thinking things through, being rational, attention to detail, taking time to do the right thing. Can be a sort of stubborn and slow-moving energy, but dedicated to a task, reliable, stable, trustworthy. Yeah. So the detail in the card, I've just written really that just the fact that it's a hawk, because I see the Knight of Pentacles as being whatever creature it is in the card, whether it's a person on a horse or it's another animal, I just always see it as a very slow-moving energy, almost stationary. But in the guidebook for the Goliath, he states that this knight has a mission and goes after it with speed and accuracy, which is what you would expect from a hawk, but I don't quite see that. I also felt this hawk with all his finery was a little bit flashy for the Knight of Pentacles as well. I don't know why, but I would never choose a hawk, I don't think, as the Knight of Pentacles. So how this related to my day, it's my partner Pete's birthday on Monday, so we're having a little sort of birthday weekend. We went out for a meal yesterday. It was a lovely day, actually. I've written, I'm really not sure how this card relates to today, except that I am a thinking things through type of person. And despite my very crappy week, where I was very distracted with my hospital appointments and things, I was still very dedicated to the task of making sure that Pete's birthday was really nice. So yeah, I got some flowers too, which was lovely. So it was just a lovely day yesterday, really nice. In the comparison for this, I've written that this man on his horse here, he's got a long road ahead of him. We can see the road stretching way back there. But it's not an unpleasant road, is it? It's all green and lush and the sun shining, and he's got his pentacle. And really, I've just written that this card fits in much more with my impression of the Knight of Pentacles, of how I feel that energy, that patient, steady progress that's not at all flashy. It's like this knight knows that his reward will come, and so he's not in a rush about it. He knows that it will be worth the effort in the end. So they're very different energies, actually, these two, aren't they? So there we go. I've got my cards out for today. We're up to the Queen of Pentacles. I'm not sure, and then Monday will be the King of Pentacles. I'm not sure what comes after the Pentacles. I'll have to look on Esther's channel. I have a feeling it might be Wands, but I'm not entirely sure, so I'll have to look that up. But I'm really proud of myself, actually, that I've managed to keep going with this, particularly having such a difficult week. So, yeah. So, yeah, I think that's all I've got to say. So I do hope that you enjoyed that, and I hope that nobody was too offended or grossed out to hear about my hospital appointments. But hey-ho, I am a menopausal woman of age 56 who's reached that age of needing to have these things. So, and have quite a lot of worry, I suppose, at the moment within my family. And yeah, and I, to be honest, I do see my YouTube friends as like my extended sort of family and community, and it's always nice to get some support wherever it comes from, isn't it? So, yeah. So I hope that everybody's well. I hope that everybody's doing well. Please do say hello. If you're doing this challenge yourself, please do say hello and let me know how you're getting on. I have watched a couple of other people's videos here and there. It's really interesting to see what people are up to. And I have to say that already, just in the second week of doing this challenge, it has actually reignited my real passion for my cards, actually. And interestingly enough, although this Goliath deck is beautiful, it's a very talkative deck. I love it a lot. The deck that I'm falling in love with is this Curious Travels deck. I just love it. It just, it feels like I've had it for years, and that I know it inside out already. So, yeah, interesting. Anyway, please do say hello, and I shall see you all again soon. Thank you.